He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell, though he'd often say in his homely way that he'd sooner live in hell. On a Christmas day we were mushing our way o'er the Dawson trail. Talk of your cold, through the park's fold, how it stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes we'd closed and the lashes froze, till sometimes you couldn't see. It wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed and the stars o'erhead were dancing heel and toe, and he turned to me, and chap, says he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess, and if I do, I'm asking that you won't refuse my last request. Well, he seemed so low that I couldn't say no, and he says with a sort of moan, it's that cursed cold, and it's got right hold, and it's chilled me through to the bone. Yet it ain't being dead is my awful dread, it's that icy grave that pains. So I want you to swear that foul or fair, you'll cremate those last remains. Now a pal's last need is a thing to heed, so I swore I wouldn't fail. And I started on at the break of dawn, and my God, he looked ghastly pale. He was crouched on the sleigh, and he raved all day of his home back in Tennessee. And before nightfall, the corpse was all that remained of Sam McGee. Now there wasn't a breath in that land of death, as I hurried horror driven, with a corpse half hid I could not get rid, because of a promise given. Now a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail is its own stern code. And in the days to come, though my lips were numb, and my heart how I cursed that load. He was lashed to the sleigh, and he seemed to say, you may tax your brawn and brains, but you promised true, and it's up to you to cremate those last remains. And in the long, long nights by the lone firelight, with the huskies round in a ring, howled out their woes to the homeless snows. My God, how I loaded that thing. And every day that quiet clay seemed to heavy and heavier grow. But on I went, though the dogs were spent, and the grub was getting low. The trail was bad, and I felt half mad, but I swore I would not give in. And I'd often sing to the hateful thing, and it heartened with a grin. Then I came to the marge of Lake Lavarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, and I saw in its ice it was called the Alice May. And I looked at it, and I thought a bit, and I looked at my frozen chum, and here, says I, with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found that was lying around, and I piled the fuel up higher. Now the furnace roared, and the flames just soared, such a blaze you seldom see. And I burrowed a hole in the glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. Then I made a hike, for I didn't like to hear him sizzle so. And the heavens scowled, and the huskies howled, and the winds began to blow. It was icy cold, but the hot sweat rolled down my cheeks, and I don't know why. And that inky smoke and a greasy cloak went streaking down the sky. Now I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear, but the stars came out, and they danced about, here again I ventured near. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said, I'll just take a peep inside, for I guess he's cooked, and it's time I looked, and the door I opened wide. And there sat Sam, looking cool and calm, in the midst of the furnace roar. He wore a smile, you could see a mile, and says, please shut that door. It's warm in here, but I greatly fear you let in the cold and the storm. For since I left Plumtree down in Tennessee, 'tis the first time I've been warm. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men a mile for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake Lavarge I cremated Sam McGee.